Stop scrolling. The 1980s may feel like a world away, but the budget meals of that decade carry deeper roots in Native American food traditions. Think of the three sisters, corn, beans, and squash, feeding generations long before they became pantry staples. In this video, we'll uncover 10 forgotten recipes that prove affordable cooking can still be rich in history, full of flavor, and tied to timeless traditions. Before we begin, hit like and subscribe. Picture a 1980s kitchen on a busy weeknight, the hum of a microwave in the background, and the smell of browned beef filling the air. That little cardboard box of Hamburger Helper sat proudly on the counter, promising to stretch 1 pound of meat into a meal big enough for the whole family. The magic was in its simplicity, noodles a seasoning packet, and just enough powdered sauce to transform an ordinary skillet into something kids couldn't wait to eat. The creamy cheeseburger macaroni or stroganoff versions felt indulgent, yet they cost far less than a takeout pizza. Families loved how quickly it came together, 30 minutes from stove to table, and children often asked for seconds, their laughter echoing through the kitchen. As the years went on, changing tastes and rising concerns about processed foods pushed Hamburger Helper out of the spotlight. Yet for many, even the thought of that red glove mascot brings back a warm reminder of evenings when dinner meant more than food. It meant gathering together, sharing stories, and enjoying comfort on a budget. The very name sounded like a kitchen trick, Impossible Cheeseburger Pie. In the 1980s, moms would pull out that trusty yellow box of Bisquick mix, everything in one bowl, and pour it into a pie pan. As it baked, something magical happened. The mixture separated into 3 perfect layers without any effort. A crust formed at the bottom, savory beef and onions filled the center, and a golden crown appeared on top. The smell that drifted through the house was pure comfort, meaty, buttery, and warm. Kids would peer through the oven window, amazed that something so simple could turn into a dish that looked so complex. It wasn't just dinner. It was a small science experiment that always worked, no matter how rushed the day had been. But as the years passed, quick prep pies gave way to frozen dinners and takeout meals, and the Bisquick box slowly lost its spot on pantry shelves. Still, many remember how that impossible pie could bring the family together, slicing into it as if it were a shared secret. If you're enjoying this trip, hit like and subscribe for more. Up in the Midwest, nothing said comfort like a bubbling pan of Tater Tot Hot Dish. Picture a casserole dish sliding out of the oven, the top crowned with golden crispy tater tots arranged like little soldiers. Beneath that crunchy layer lay a creamy mixture of ground beef, onions, mixed vegetables, and cream of mushroom soup. One bite gave you everything at once: the satisfying crunch of the tots, the savory richness of the meat, and the mellow earthiness of the vegetables. Families loved it not just for the taste, but for the way it stretched a single pound of beef to feed a crowd. Church suppers, potlucks, or a snowy Tuesday night, this dish fit them all. It filled bellies and warmed hearts in equal measure. Kids dug in for the crunchy top, while parents appreciated the practicality of feeding so many with so little. Over time, lighter fare and changing diets dimmed its popularity, but those who grew up with it can still close their eyes and taste the balance of textures. Thinking about Hamburger Helper, Impossible Cheeseburger Pie, and this hearty hot dish, if you had to pick only one for your table today, which would it be? In Rochester, New York, the garbage plate was the kind of meal that looked like pure chaos but felt like pure genius. Imagine a heaping plate where macaroni salad, french fries, baked beans, and a hamburger or hot dog all tumbled together, then got smothered in spicy meat sauce and diced onions. It wasn't pretty, but the aroma alone, savory, smoky, and tangy, drew people in. What made it unforgettable was the way each bite was different. One forkful gave you creamy macaroni with a crunch of onions, the next a salty french fry soaked in meat sauce. It was messy, it was filling, and it was uniquely satisfying. Families and college students alike loved how it turned leftovers into something worth gathering around. Over time, healthier eating trends and restaurant polish pushed the garbage plate to the fringes, but its legend remains strong in New York diners. It wasn't just food, it was an event, a dare, almost a rite of passage. Anyone who tried it walked away with a story to tell, their napkin covered in sauce and their belly more than full. Taco pie brought a fiesta to the American dinner table in the 1980s without stretching the family budget. Picture a golden cornbread crust, fresh from the oven, holding layers of seasoned ground beef, melted cheese, and all the classic taco fixings. The first slice revealed a mosaic of colors, bright reds from tomatoes, cool greens from lettuce, and the rich yellow of cheddar blending into the warm crust below. The beauty of taco pie was its flexibility. Families could top their slices however they liked: sour cream for some, jalapenos for the brave, or a drizzle of hot sauce for those who wanted extra kick. It looked festive enough to serve when company came over, yet cost less than ordering a pizza. For many kids, this was their first introduction to Mexican night at home, even if the flavors were more American than authentic. As tacos became more readily available in fast food chains and taco kits filled supermarket shelves, taco pie faded into the background. But for a while, it was the centerpiece of weeknight creativity, something both practical and fun. Your comments, keep these memories alive, drop yours below. Few dishes carried the heart of the 1980s dinner table like chicken and rice casserole. Imagine a baking dish emerging from the oven, steam rising as tender chicken pieces nestled into a bed of creamy rice, the aroma of broth and herbs wrapping the whole kitchen in warmth. It wasn't fancy, but it was dependable, a dish that could welcome unexpected guests or stretch a small budget without complaint. Part of its charm was how forgiving it was. Leftover vegetables, toss them in, a can of cream soup, stir it through. Every version turned out slightly different, but always comforting, always filling. Families loved how the rice soaked up every drop of flavor, turning simple pantry staples into something that tasted like home. For kids, it was the kind of meal that meant second helpings. For parents, it was the assurance that no one would leave the table hungry. As lifestyles grew busier and takeout menus became more tempting, the humble casserole slowly lost its spotlight. Yet anyone who shared a bubbling pan of it remembers the way it could turn an ordinary evening into a moment of togetherness. If you're enjoying this trip, hit like and subscribe for more. When pizza night collided with tight budgets, French bread pizza came to the rescue. Picture a loaf of crusty French bread, sliced lengthwise, its surface spread with tomato sauce, sprinkled with shredded mozzarella, and piled with whatever toppings the fridge could spare, pepperoni, mushrooms, or even last night's vegetables. As it baked, the bread crisped at the edges while staying chewy inside, creating a base that was rustic yet satisfying. The fun of it was in the freedom. Kids got to play chef, building their own halves or quarters with the toppings they loved most. For parents, it was cheaper and faster than delivery, with no complaints about picky eaters. The smell of melting cheese and toasted bread filled the kitchen in minutes, making everyone hover close until the oven timer chimed. Over time, frozen pizzas and 2-for-1 deals took center stage, leaving French bread pizza behind as a nostalgic treat. Still, for anyone who remembers those DIY nights, one bite can bring back the simple joy of creating something homemade that felt just as good, if not better, than takeout. In the 1980s, when parents were looking for a way to sneak vegetables onto the dinner table without a fuss, chicken, broccoli, rice, casserole became the hero. Imagine a baking dish filled with fluffy rice, tender chunks of chicken, and bright green broccoli florets, all bound together with a creamy sauce and topped with a bubbling layer of cheddar. As it baked, the cheese melted down through the layers, creating hidden pockets of gooey goodness that kids couldn't resist. The magic of this casserole was how balanced it felt: protein, grains, and vegetables all in one dish. Families discovered they could prepare it ahead of time, making busy weeknights less stressful. Even the pickiest eaters found themselves cleaning their plates when the salty bite of cheese paired so perfectly with the mild sweetness of broccoli. It was the rare meal that satisfied both health goals and comfort cravings. But as fresh, lighter recipes and stir-fries began to take over family kitchens, casseroles like this slowly drifted out of everyday rotation. For those who remember it, though, the first forkful always recalls a kitchen table where practicality met pure, cheesy satisfaction. The name said it all. Sloppy Joes were messy, sticky, and absolutely beloved. Picture a skillet bubbling with ground beef simmering in tangy tomato sauce, the sweet and savory aroma filling the kitchen. Then came the soft hamburger buns, stacked high with that saucy mixture already threatening to spill over the edges before the first bite. Families knew napkins were mandatory, but no one minded the mess when the flavor was that good. For kids, Sloppy Joes meant laughter at the table, dripping sauce on their fingers and shirts while trying to take giant bites. For parents, it was an affordable way to turn simple ingredients into a meal that felt like a treat. Some even added a slice of cheese to melt into the filling, making it extra indulgent. Over time, with healthier eating trends and neater sandwich options, Sloppy Joes started to fade from regular menus. Yet those who grew up in the 1980s still remember the joy of that sweet, saucy chaos. Thinking back on French bread pizza, chicken, broccoli, rice casserole, and Sloppy Joes, if you could bring one back to your table tonight, which would it be? Few meals summed up weeknight comfort in the 1980s like a bubbling skillet of chili mac. Imagine tender elbow macaroni folding into a hearty chili of ground beef, beans, tomatoes, and just the right kick of spices. The moment cheese melted across the top, the whole kitchen smelled of warmth and welcome, promising a dish that could chase away the chill of any evening. What made it so loved was its simplicity. Everything cooked together in one pan, making cleanup quick and painless. The pasta gave it staying power, the beans added substance, and the chili spices delivered just enough excitement for adventurous young palates. Families often paired it with cornbread, turning an ordinary night into something that felt like a celebration. But as ready-made meals and restaurant dining grew more common, this humble skillet began to disappear from family menus. Still, for anyone who tasted it hot from the pan, it remains a memory of togetherness. Steaming bowls passed around the table, each bite layered with comfort. Your comments? Keep these memories alive. Drop yours below. Looking back at these forgotten dishes of the 1980s, it's clear they were more than recipes. They were a bridge between tradition, creativity, and family life. From Native American foodways to the casseroles and skillet meals that defined a decade, each bite carried both history and heart. If this trip down memory lane brought back flavors you remember, or maybe ones you wish to try, share your thoughts in the comments. Your memories keep these stories alive. And if you haven't already, hit like and subscribe so you won't miss our next journey into America's culinary past.